There we are. Excellent. Okay. Kia ora, tēnā koutou, and welcome, adventurers, to the first ever Tales from the Adventurers Guild. I am the head curator here at the Infinite Ocean Museum, and it is our pleasure to welcome you today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as I regale you with the first of many tales from the Adventurers Guild. So we shall begin with the Tortured Land. Come on. Okay. Hopefully in the future this will be far more impressive. I just go that, make it full screen, and then I can zoom it in a bit. There we are. The vast, bitterly cold expanse of the steppes known as the Ride have been your home for the last month. During this time, the only people you have been in contact with are a small tribe of barbarians known as the Artisan, who welcomed you into their village with open arms. But now you crave solitude, and so you strike out into the wind-whipped tundra once more. This far north, it is cold year-round, and those hardy souls who make this land their residence are few and far between. The Artisan told you of a village to the east. Your scant knowledge of their language suggests the village is called Barefoot, but you can't be sure. With nothing better to do, you set out for Barefoot, which lies just south of a small mountain range. There you plan on picking up supplies and continuing east. Perhaps you will visit Ilinvur, or perhaps pass to the north on your way to Vasa. East seems to be the way you are going. North to the mountains is the Tortured Land, a barren, icy wasteland, inhospitable to all but the most twisted, hardened creatures. You say your farewells to the Artisan people and set out for the village, keeping the sun's path across the sky as your guide. Taking your time, you walk for 3 days, enjoying the solitude once more. By nightfall on the 3rd day, you see a cluster of lights some way off, which you reason must be Barefoot. Not quite ready for civilization yet, although this barely qualifies. You spend the night camped out on the steppe, surprisingly warm in the tent you obtained from the Artisan. You bank stones, high around your campfire so that they are protected from the wind and from far-off eyes. After cooking a basic but hearty meal over the embers of your fire, you turn in for the night, sleeping peacefully under the stars. It occurs to you that you have become very attached to the empty space of the ride and are starting to feel quite at home in it. The wide, open plains have a beauty all of their own. You sleep soundly, only waking once when you heard an animal snuffling just outside your campsite. Always primed, you have become highly alert to any sounds that don't belong, and always waken when something is nearby. Breaking camp the next morning, you shoulder your pack and look east towards Barefoot, which sits upon a slight rise. When the sun clears the horizon and touches the plain, you are about half a mile out from Barefoot. You wonder what awaits you in this small town. It has been a long time since you visited anything resembling a town. You hope to get in, get supplies you need, and leave. Apologies, I lost my place. Get the supplies you need, and then leave, continuing east. A night's sleep in an actual bed might be nice, but you certainly don't want to linger here. At least, that's your intentions as you approach the gates of Barefoot. The town is ringed by a wall of wooden stakes, about 10 feet tall. Approaching the western side of the settlement, you see it is manned by a single guard, standing atop a tower about twice as tall as the fortifications. "Good morning," you call out. "Morning," the man returns in a thick northern accent. "Where you coming from?" You see he is dressed in leather armor and wears a broadsword strapped across his back. He is not your usual lazy looking guard. However, this man looks hardened, battle ready. Only the strong survive here on the ride, and it is certainly wise to have your best warriors manning the gates of a village so exposed. "From Artisan settlement to the west," you say. "Is this the village of Barefoot?" "Bearclaw," he replies. "Hold on, I'll open the gate. We don't get many visitors this time of year, especially on foot." The man descends the tower quickly. His friendliness and eagerness are a welcome change. It's not the suspicious treatment you are used to when entering cities of late. A large wooden gate creaks open to reveal the main street of Bearclaw. You thank the guard and enter the town. The first thing you notice is the wind, or rather the lack of it. The buildings shelter you from the relentless icy breeze that scours everything on the ride. It is nice to be out of it for a change. Despite the hour, the town is quiet. But you do see a few faces peering out at you as you make your way down the main street. A tavern bearing the name The Crackling Hearth sits halfway down the street, and you also see a general supply store named Jurafar's General Supplies. Towards the end of the street, there appears to be a temple that bears a thick totem pole at the apex of its entrance. The image of a warrior wearing a necklace of crystals sits there cross-legged, looking impassively out over the town. A little further down, an interesting-looking shop named Canoth's Rare Books and Tomes sits. Where will you go? I think our first visit shall be to the Crackling Hearth. So, you push open the door to the Crackling Hearth. No, that is 16. There we are. Pushing your way through a heavy wooden door, you enter a cozy little tavern populated by local townsfolk. Faces turn towards you as you walk to the bar. Most friendly, one or two suspicious. Greetings, traveller, the barkeeper says. Welcome to the Crackling Hearth. What'll it be? We've ale, of course, brewed in the village, or else there's mulled elderberry wine, or a little spirit I brewed myself called Arse Kicker. Warms the cockles, I'll tell thee. Don't drink his brew, friend, a drunk halfling shouts across the bar. It'll bloody well kill ya. Sure as the day is short. You chuckle at these villagers and their banter and order yourself a drink. Sipping on it, you feel warmth spreading through your body. Looking around the bar, you see various characters seated at tables or by a large roaring fire that is set into one wall, heating the room. There are two large half-orcs laughing and challenging patrons to an arm wrestling contest. A sullen-looking priest sitting alone in a back corner of the room. Or you could join a large group of villagers seated around a merchant who is narrating what is obviously a gripping tale. This sounds like the perfect opportunity, so we will go and see what this tale is that he is regaling them with. If I could find it. There we go. As you near, you begin to pick up on the tale, which is keeping the villagers enthralled. Well, anyway, I don't know where the thing came from, but it's infested my cellar and won't go away. I think it must have leaked up from underground somehow. Maybe from the tunnels of those horrid drow. Don't be bloody silly, Stellan. The nearest drow tunnels are in Vasa. Their realm doesn't extend this far west. Stellan waves his hand dismissively and begins describing the creature. Horrible thing it is, like sticky red glue. Martha tried to go near it, and it gave her a terrible headache. She couldn't think straight for the rest of the day. So we've locked the cellar and we daren't go down there. But I'll tell you what, the man picks up a tankard, takes a long swig. There's a reward for anyone who can get rid of the thing. At this, most villagers shake their heads. Not me, you hear one of them. And sounds like a problem, mate. Your problem, that is. Gradually, they all leave the table. However, it feels like this would be an opportunity to offer your services as an adventurer. You seat yourself at the man's table. He regards you with some surprise. What? He asks. I couldn't help overhearing your story, you say. I might be able to help. The man's face transforms into an expression of delight. Really? If you could, I'll reward you with all the gold I have. You confirm that, yes, you will help him. The man quickly finishes his drink, and together you leave the crackling hearth. The man introduces himself as Stalin Smithhand, a local grain merchant and family man. Thank the gods you've agreed to help, he said. Ooh, there we go. My house isn't far from here, just at the western edge of town. You ask Stalin to describe the beings that have infested his cellar, spoiling his supplies of grain, which was supposed to get him through the winter. He shudders. Terrible things they are, red, sticky things, like great blobs. No idea where they came from. Following Stalin, you finally reach a humble little shack and follow him inside, and see a woman there and 3 children, all huddled by the fire. They look at you with alarm. Nothing to worry about, my love, Stalin assures his wife. Our friend here is going to help us with our little problem in the cellar. And the wife smiles faintly at this. Stalin leads you towards a narrow opening. Looking down, you see a staircase leading to a door below. Stalin passes you a key. I don't think they're too bright, he says. So if you're stealthy, you might be able to catch them by surprise. Good luck, friend. There's 75 gold waiting for you when you return. You look down the narrow staircase towards the door and slowly begin your descent. Ready to go combat. So, let us make a stealth check while I select, we'll go with that one for an oozy sort of character. So let us begin with stealth. See if we can get the drop on this creature. What would its perception be? Passive of 12. So we'll go with that. And that is apparently only an 11. So as we unlock the door, makes a slight click. You hold your breath for a moment. And as the door opens with the slightest creak, there is a red ooze blob looking creature that, for want of a better word, turns to you. And we will begin combat as we go to our battle cam. Look at that. I will obviously improve the lighting here. Unfortunately, we were pressed for time to get the museum ready for such an event, but rest assured, next week it will be better improved. So we will begin with rolling initiative. Now there's the rolls that we want to see. So that is a total of 20 for myself. And these things have an initiative of +3. So that is a 7 for the Ublex. Excellent. So to start with, I think it would be prudent to know what this creature is. So I will make a nature check, which is not too bad. But that is only a 12. It would be no better for that. So this is, as far as I am aware, a red blob. I assume I have heard, of course, of a creature such as this being an Oblex, a small, oozy creature. Surprisingly intelligent creatures, very dexterous, but no strength to them. So, with that, I will approach with my 2 daggers out and begin with an attack. I also have the weapon mastery on the dagger, so I can use the nick feature. So I shall do that. So let's roll these 2 attacks. I am a monk as well, so I get to have a d6. We have on the first attack a 14, which will just hit, and a 13, which will also hit. So they have 18 hit points. Excellent. So that is 5 and 4, 9. 9 for the first, and 4 for the second, for the bonus action, Nick. So that is 13. Yep. So that is 13 damage. And then I will do a flurry of blows. So another 2 attacks. Yes, that'll do. Get like that so I know which is which. Another 2 attacks. So that is a 15 and a 19, so both of those will hit for 7 and 8, so that is enough. Unless they have resistance. No. So that was very quick. It didn't even get an attack off as I come in with 2 dagger strikes and a couple of blows. We have successfully destroyed this creature. Let me just check. Yeah, wonderful. We have successfully destroyed this creature. A nice, easy win for the beginning of the day. It is down here. So, as the ooze slowly melts away, panting, not too hard, we leave the cellar, head upstairs, and Stellan Smithhand is overjoyed at having his cellar cleared of the red goo, and pays you the promised 75 gold pieces. We shall write that down. That will be useful because the Adventurers Guild will need paying when I return for my board and the such. After feeding you and letting you rest a while, you leave and continue your exploration of Bearclaw. So, what were our options again? We have been to the Crackling Hearth. We shall go visit the temple, I think. That seems an interesting place to view. If only I could find it. Apparently it is down. There we are. So, you approach the temple. The entrance to a low building is marked with a squat totem. A single figure is depicted on the totem. It appears to be a giant of some sort, in a crouching position, wearing a necklace of blue and white crystals. So, what is this? Do I know anything? How is my religion? Again, not terrible. However, that is only a 5, so I do not recall anything of this. So I shall go to here. You can discern nothing about the strange totem that sits atop the temple building. However, with that, we shall enter the building. No. And this one is up. There we go. So you make your way inside the temple. At the end of the room, lit by an atmospheric blue light, an idol stands atop an altar, similar to the figure depicted on the totem, but in a standing position this time. Behind this idol is a pedestal that bears a wooden rack. The rack looks as if it was designed to display something, but it is currently empty. The Lord of Ice blesses you, traveller, comes a softer voice to your left. From out of the shadows, a young man in priestly garb emerges. What brings you to our humble temple? You explain that you are new in town and just finding your way around. The young priest steps back and looks you up and down. The adventuring type, eh? He says. Perhaps you were meant to come here, friend. Perhaps you have come here to aid us in the time of our greatest need. You ask the priest what he means by this. We have had our soul, our lifeblood taken from us, he says, looking at the floor. A great relic has been stolen from this temple. Frostbringer, the staff of Tolric, Bearclaw, our forefather and founder of this village. He waves a hand at the empty rack behind the idol. It used to sit up there, behind the image of our benevolent God. Stolen? By whom? The priest sighs. 3 nights ago, we were invaded by a marauding band of gnolls. Do you know of these creatures? You reply that you have heard of them. And the priest continues. The priests of this temple believe they were acting under duress, fulfilling the quest under the orders of someone much more powerful than they. And who would that be, you ask? That we do not know. What we really need is a skilled warrior or mage to venture north, for that is the direction that the brutes departed in, to investigate this, hopefully to return Frostbringer to us. In return, we can offer the services of a great weaponsmith, a devotee of Ulutil, and a patron of this temple. We will have him forge an arcane weapon for you, to your specifications. A bow, a sword, a great axe, whatever you wish, he will craft it for you. And our mages will place enchantments on it. Gold we do not have much of, I'm afraid, but we can offer this. You nod and look around the temple. You told yourself that you would only stay in Bearclaw for a short time, not allowing yourself to be distracted. But you find yourself drawn in by the offer of a quest. Something you have not had for quite some time. There. Overjoyed that you have decided to accept their quest, the priest, who introduces himself as Remigius, helps you prepare for your journey. The area north of here is fraught with peril, he says. Some of our men tracked the gnolls as far as the Frozen Steps, a monument some 5 miles north of here. It is an ancient, sacred place. On these frigid plains, as I'm sure you are well aware, your greatest enemy is the cold. Take care to look after yourself at all times, and if you are near or on any mountains, be on the lookout for avalanches. They are a constant threat. Also, the lights this far north sometimes play tricks on you. Beware of illusions. If your path leads you to the mountains, there are 2 ways you could progress. Poison path to the northeast, which leads to the tortured land through a series of twisting gullies. Or to the northwest, the pass of Oral is a low saddle between two mountains and a very hard climb. You'll be exposed to the elements there and will need to be on the lookout for crevices, avalanches, and severe weather. Poison Pass it is then, you say. Remigius raises a finger. You might think that, but Poison Pass is home to orc raiding parties who are ever on the lookout for travelers. They can relieve of their money and their lives. So it's your choice between dying under snow or dying under a hail of arrows. Remigius concludes with a wry grin. The priest takes you to the temple storerooms, where he provides you with two things: a set of heavy furs to keep you warm, and provisions, hard bread, cheeses, dried meat, and root ginger to chew to aid digestion and also keep you warm. Having concluded your conversation with the priest, you may wish to now visit some of the shops in the main street. Remigius tells you that as this is the quiet part of the year, you will probably only have time to visit one of these shops, as business generally shuts down at midday and time has gotten on. If you do, you may return to this section later. There is the bookstore and the general supply. However, given I am already well stocked, I think I may just relax. So, where is the next? Take note, choose between, and then return here. Probably close by now. The priest offers you a bed for the night in a small monastery that adjoins the Ulutyu temple. It is free, and you will be fed, but it is certainly not the luxurious bed you had been looking forward to. Alternatively, the priest tells you that the crackling hearth has very comfortable rooms for 5 gold a night, which will cover accommodation and meals. I think the crackling hearth sounds nice. It has been some time, so we will head there. 5 gold we can spend, so eager to treat yourself to at least one night of comfort, you head back to the crackling hearth and pay for a room. You take a meal in the tavern, potato-topped fish pie with mountain herbs and root vegetables, accompanied by a goblet of hot mulled wine. In the almost too warm interior of the crackling hearth, you are the only customer, and you relish the pleasant glow that comes as a result of excellent food and wine. Soon you feel yourself begin to nod off, so you say goodnight to the innkeeper and head up to bed. A comfortable bed with clean linen is a decadent luxury or a travel-hardened soul such as yourself. And after soaking in a hot bath and washing the cares of the road away, you fall into bed and into the deepest sleep you have known for some time. At some point during the night, you dream that you are lost in the middle of a white-out blizzard. Trudging through a mountain pass, you traverse a snowy expanse that never seems to end. Always there is a face shimmering just out of sight in the sky above you. The face is female, beautiful, but is laughing at you, defying you. Determined, you always press on, but never find the end of the path, and you're becoming colder and colder. You awake the next morning, feeling well rested, but the memory of that dream lingers with you. You cannot shake the feeling that it was significant in some way. So, where's our next? Yeah. Now that you are ready to leave Bearclaw and track the gnolls who stole the staff of Tolric Bearclaw, at the northern end of town, another guard mans the gate. He is bold and well built, but not as talkative as the guard manning the gate when you arrived. He merely gives you a grunt, which you translate as good luck. You stand at the northern gate of Bearclaw and look out over an expanse of grassland that leads towards the range of mountains spanning the horizon. On the other side of those mountains is the frozen steppe known as the Tortured Land. The further north you go from this point, the colder it will get. You also see some ominous-looking slate-grey clouds blowing in from the northeast, darkening the mountain top in that area. Remigius joins you as you stand by the gate, preparing to depart. He comes near. "Good luck, dear friend," he says. "I cannot tell you what this means to us. If you can retrieve the staff, you will have saved not only the spirit of this village, but the order of Ulutiu as well. We are one of the few remaining temples left in all of Faerun. Who knows, maybe the Lord of Ice will return from his sojourn and bless us all." You assure the priest that, no matter what, you will try your best. He reiterates his promise to you that when you return, an enchanted weapon will be forged according to your specifications. Saying your final goodbyes, you shoulder your pack and set out from the north gate of Bearclaw. And I will take a moment to drink. This is something that I'm not used to, is talking constantly, so my throat is dry. I will, over time, improve, but for now, I need to maintain hydration. I do so hope everyone is enjoying the stream so far and that everything is interesting. Please feel free to chat. Okay. thank you, yes. Wonderful. Same if I'm goodbye, set out. Now then, there are two paths that lead out from Bearclaw towards the frozen stones. One follows an unnamed river that runs down from the pass of Oral and traverses the lowland, going through a forest for one part of the journey. The second ascends a ridge and takes the highland, overlooking the plain. I think the lowland path would suit us, as skilled as we are at dispatching enemies, being the skilled adventurer that we are. A pleasant forest path sounds interesting for today, so we shall take that path, heading generally northwest. You take the lowland route towards the frozen stones. A chill wind whips across the tundra, but as your path descends into a valley, you soon find yourself sheltered from it. The river meanders its way beside the track, ice forming at its edges. To your east, the plateau bears the highland route and rises up steeply, and you are grateful for having chosen this route. After about an hour's walking, the path enters a section of ancient forest. This path seemingly quite well maintained. You reason that hunters and trappers from Bearclaw must use it. Meanders through the wood. So with that, we shall make a survival check to ensure that we are going in the correct direction. Being a monk with high wisdom, I have a reasonable survival. However, that is only a 4 on the dice and a 4 for survival, so that is an 8. And the DC was 16, so unfortunately, that is unsuccessful. So, where are we? Now there. So you continue through the dark, silent forest, thinking over the quest that Remigius has given you. So Knowles stole the staff. You wonder what use they would have with such a relic. Then you remember that Remigius said that he thought they were acting on someone's orders. If so, that who could that person be? Who even lives out here in this cold, inhospitable terrain? Your reverie is broken by a growling, slavering sound coming from up ahead. You freeze, watching as 3 wolves emerge from the undergrowth, baring teeth and licking chops. Cautiously, they begin to advance towards you, spreading out in order to surround you. They appear to have one thing on their mind: dinner. And if the implication wasn't clear, that will be us. Or me. So, we shall remove that one. I have 2 dog-like creatures that I will put like that. And a dragon will have to suffice for the third one. I'm going to have to improve that camera quality. Oh well. That is what I shall work on. Now then. So we shall roll initiative. The wolves are somehow less dexterous than the tiny ooze, but what can you do? So for me, we have a natural 20. Excellent. That is fun. So that is a total of 24. 24 for my initiative. And the 3 wolves will have a 11, 2 11s, and a 13. So 2 of them, we will say the 2 that are more dog-like will move together. And the 13 will be the dragon, who will move slightly before them. So 13. Excellent. Now then. Again, I will move first. That is excellent. I'll approach the one that is slightly further away, although they probably have the speed to reach me, but that's fine. And I will do my attack with the 2 daggers. They are quite easy to hit, but there are 3 of them, so this should be interesting. Ooh, excellent. You can hear the dice rolling. I love that. That will definitely hit. 19 on one of them on the dice, and a 16 on the other, so that will definitely hit. Doge 1. Doge plane. And Doge portal. Just so I know which one is which, of course. So, the plane 1, 2 hits. That is 6 and 4, so that is 10. And they have 11 hit points, so that is 1 hit point left. I will bonus action do an unarmed strike. We won't use a flurry of blows, just the unarmed strike. Because if it hits, it will definitely kill the wolf. However, that is a 9, which will not hit, which is a shame because the dice were very good. So that is my turn. It is now definitely a wolf's turn, and it will move 20, 25, 30. It will move around to here. I believe they have 40 feet, so these are quite speedy wolves. And since it is with an ally, it will have pack tactics. So that will give it advantage on its attack. It has +4 to hit, and it will do 2d4. Moment, I need to get some 4-sided dice out. 2d4, there we go. And a strength saving throw will be knocked prone. So, yeah, that fell out. So that is, what did they have? +4 to hit 16. So that will not hit. My armor class is 18. So as it comes in for the bite, I dexterously just tap it on the nose for it to miss. It is now the two other dogs' turns, so this one will move in to flank, and we'll both take attacks with advantage. That is a 16 and 4, 20, so that will hit for 8 damage. That hurts, but it is okay. And the other one will also attack, and that is a 19. So that is another 8 damage, a 1, a 3, and +4. So it is now back to my turn. I will take 1 attack against the one I have almost finished off, and hopefully remove that one. Oops, I realize you cannot see very much. Let's push them all out into the sunshine. There we are. At least you can see some color now. So 1 on that one. However, that is only an 11. So nick property for the other one. That will certainly hit. Yes, yep. So that will certainly hit, and that will kill that wolf. And with that, the other two, seeing one of their pack go down, will make a wisdom saving throw. The DC is only 10, but if they fail, they will flee. And their wisdom is +1. So let's see. 1 succeeds and 1 fails. So we will say that that one failed, so it shall move. It'll disengage, yes, and go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. The other one that succeeded will now take its turn. It doesn't get advantage anymore because there is no ally. However, it could still knock me prone. And that is cocked. And that is only a 3 on the dice, so that will definitely not hit as I just swerve out of the way. That brings me to the top of the turn order. I will do 2 attacks. Attack and nick. So yes, those will both hit for 9 and 8 is 17, and I believe they have 13 or 11 hit points. So that is that one killed as well. And with that, the other wolf will take its turn and run, leaving the area. So, let us find out what happens. I think that would be a good opportunity to take a short rest, spend a hit dice and heal up. I may, as I am a Way of Mercy monk, use my Hand of Healing to give myself a d6 of healing, use a focus point, and then I will get that back on the short rest. So we will do that. So that is 3. And let's go back to the main scene. There we are, so that you can see me staring down at the table. And a d8. Where have they all gone? There we are. A d8. So we will. That is another 3, but we will add 4 to that. So 7, 10. Mark that off. And so we are only down 8 hit points. I might do that again. That is another 1, so another 5. So we're down 3 hit points. That's okay. Excellent. So I have used one of the focus points and 2 of my hit dice. Okay, so with that victory, we shall go here. Take a moment to drink again. That was quite the intense battle. It went far better than the last time I tried that. You can imagine 3 wolves, all with pack tactics. I got very low, so I'm glad that worked out this time. So you catch your breath, relieved that you survived the encounter with these ferocious forest beasts. But you do not linger. You are keen to be away from here before the smell of warm blood attracts any other creatures to your location. Quickly you leave along the path. The forest path twists and turns, taking you down shallow gullies and across small rivers. Eventually, after about 3 hours of walking, the forest thins and finally ends, and ahead you see, not too far away, a ring of stones that look deliberately arranged in some sort of ritualistic circle. This must be the monument known as the Frozen Stones. Cautiously you approach. Arriving at the monument known as the Frozen Stones, you scour the area for signs of life. I shall do so with either a perception or survival check, either as a +4, so that'll be only a 13, and the DC was 14. So apparently I do not see anything. So I need to change that. So unsuccessful. Where was I going? Approaching carefully, you keep your eyes and ears peeled for any signs of habitation, but detect none. Perhaps you'll be able to make camp here. Evening is not too far off as it is, and now that the sun has dipped below the horizon, the temperature is dropping accordingly. A chill breeze blows steadily across the open tundra. I feel like after the wolf encounter, I would be uh, using stealth. I would be trying to sneak up if possible, make sure that I'm unseen just in case there's something here. And that went on a massive trip. I'm not rolling very well. That is only a 10. So I imagine sticks probably lying on the ground, crackle under my feet. 13 or below. We go here. Excellent. Up, please. There we go. You continue towards the circle of stones, keeping an eye out for a good spot to make camp. There are patches of snow on the ground here and there. You're starting to reach far enough north that the chill of the mountains reaches down to the tundra. From here, it's only going to get colder, and with a clear sky, it will be a frigid night ahead. You enter the stone circle, seeing that these monoliths, each of which stand about 15 feet tall, are arranged in a rough circle. They provide some shelter from the elements. You wonder what purpose the monuments were erected for. So, a perception check is called for, and that is again a failure. So we will head to here. Up. There we are. Interesting. Okay. So a roll of 20-sided dice, that is that one if you don't know, plus 3. That is 26, and that is greater than my AC. So we will go to this one. Have I? No. Where are we? Here we are. An arrow pierces you deeply, and you stifle a cry of agony. So it's 1d8 plus 2 piercing damage. So that is 7 damage as out of nowhere, seemingly nowhere, an arrow hits. However, I will use my deflect attack, which allows me to reduce that by an amount that I have forgotten. I will say it is a d10. Yes, a d10 will suffice. So that was 7. So if I reduce it by, so that is 6 and monk level, so that is 10, so I actually reduced that damage. So as the arrow barely starts to pierce, grab it quickly, taking no damage from it. And as I haven't seen my attacker, I will just drop the arrow. Normally I could return it, but yes, as I say, I haven't seen this attacker, so I'm not entirely sure where it is. Looking in the direction it came from, you see 2 gnolls, one advancing on you, the other standing at a distance. So we will fight these creatures now. So I have put those two like that. Me over here. Go back to the battle cat. Oh dear, I really do need to. Wow. My sincerest apologies. This is one of the many things that I need to work on for my stream. So that one will stay in position and fire a longbow. The south one also uses longbow, but will take cover moving towards. I'm just going to say that it will move towards. I am woefully unprepared for battle for this encounter, this session, but the only way is up, as they say. So, let's roll some initiative for myself. Oh dear, these dice are tiring as I am. So that is 7 and 4 is 11 initiative for myself. And 1 Knoll. Yes, you're more southern. No, there we go. So the north one gets a 15, and the southern one gets 6. North. 6 is the south. Excellent. Okay. So, begin initiative. We start with the north one, who will stay there. And makes 2 melee attacks or 2 range attacks. So they will make 2 attacks. Excellent. With d8s this time. There they are. Okay. 2 attacks. That is a 5, and I don't think they have great amounts to hit. +4, yes, so a 9 to hit and an 18 will just hit. So that is a, yes, 11 learn indeed. A 1 and 2, so 3. I will use my reaction again to reduce that, and that is cocked. That is a 5, so I reduce it by enough, and I will spend a focus point to return it. So a DC 14 dexterity saving throw, and it fails. So it will take, it may be 2d6. I will say that it is one roll of the monk dice. That is 3. So the north one has taken 3 damage. I have taken none from that attack, and the first one missed. Excellent. It is now my turn. How many hit points did I have? 22. Okay. 22. Excellent. 45 remainder and 22. Okay. So it is now my turn. I will run up to the first one. And we shall make 2 dagger attacks. We'll use that one this time. 2 dagger attacks and follow it up with a flurry of blows, because these things seem to be more hardy than the wolves and stronger as well. So that is a 16 and a 17. So that will hit, both attacks will hit. So that is 6, 8, and 4, 12 damage. That is very nice. And then a flurry of blows. I'll spend a focus point on that for another 2 attacks. However, one of those will miss at a 9, but the other one is 17 on the dice, so that will hit for 5 and 9, another 9 damage. So it is down to 21. So it has 1 hit point left. Wonderful. However, it is now its turn. So it will grab out its spear. This will probably tell me. And they do have an interesting feature when they drop to 0 hit points, so that should be fun. Spear is 1d6, excellent. So it will make 2 attacks as well with a d6. That is a 19 and a 15, so both of those will hit. How many do I have? I will spend a focus point. Yes, it has been my turn, so I have my reaction. I will spend a focus point to do another deflection of one of these. It'll be the first one, which is going to do the most damage. So we will reduce that by, yes, down to 0, fortunately. However, the second one did still hit. So that is 5 damage. So orange. Or 1d8 when used in melee. Oh dear. Oh well. Let's just add another 3 to that. So 5, 8. So 8 damage for me. Not there. 3 on you, 8 on me, and he's down 1. Excellent. So it is now the Northern Knoll's turn. This fellow right here. Wow, that is absolutely atrocious. Okay, so 2 attacks with his longbow. Wow, that went on a trip again. So one of those is a 12, so that won't hit. Wherever the other is a total of 20. I will save my last focus point, but that is 3, and this is going to be rough. 3 and 2, so another 5 damage. And that is his turn. It is now my turn. So I will do my first attack to get rid of this gnoll in front of me. And that will hit. With its 1 hit point, it is knocked unconscious. However, when it reduces a creature, that is better. Okay, so that is that one killed. I will proceed up to the other one, hiding. Make the second attack with the other dagger. However, that is a natural 1, so that will miss. I will now take one more attack as a bonus action. And that will hit for 9 damage. So it is looking bloodied at 12. It is down by 12, so it is at 10 hit points. And that one is gone. So it is now that Noel's turn. Normally it would try and hide, however, with my superior speed, it is just going to drop its bow and try and hit me with the spear. That is a 19 and a 14, so the 14 will miss. The 19 will hit. I will let that hit for now, as I only have 1 point and I may like to use that for a flurry of blows shortly. So that is 5 and 2, 7 damage. So where are we at? Ooh. So we are down 20 out of 48. So not too bad, but don't want to take too many more of those. And that brings me to my turn. So 2 attacks with the 2 knives. One will definitely hit. That one is a 13, which will also hit. So that is 10 plus 4, 14, and it only had 10, so that is the second gnoll dealt with handedly. There we are. So, let me see what happens when I succeed on these. There we are. The gnolls lie dead, their blood staining the sacred ground. Still on the alert, you check the area to see if any more of them are hiding behind the stones. But it seems the area is clear. It was just these 2. Were these part of the band who stole the staff of Frostbringer from the temple? Or were they just random wanderers who happened to be in the area? So I will search these bodies, take a long rest, and then I think that will suffice for this session. So the gnolls carry their weapons and basic survival equipment. Initially, your investigation turns up nothing, but searching further, you find something of interest. A mark that both of them bear on their chest. It appears to be a religious symbol of some kind, and it is not so much tattooed there as branded. It appears to be a crude depiction of a snowflake with 6 points. Something or someone has burned this mark into these creatures. I shall history check. Yes, that is a history check is better for me than what was the other one? Religion. Yes, I shall make a history check. I have proficiency. So that is... The dice do not like it when I make checks, apparently. That is only a 5. So, I know nothing, apparently. So, whoops, where am I? Here. Unsuccessful, go here. The mark borne by these gnolls is not familiar to you, but you reason that perhaps it marks them out as belonging to some sort of cult, or order perhaps. Maybe their whole tribe bears this mark, in which case, maybe they are part of some larger group. Pondering all this, you set about finding a camp. And we will leave it there for this session. As I said earlier, I am new to talking all the time, and that feels like a good place to stop for this session. So I hope you all have enjoyed this first episode of Tales from the Adventurers Guild, and I hope that you will join us for the next session next week as we continue this adventure. And with that, we shall conclude. Thank you again for coming.